So we've heard about that. And sandwich program, in which the first 1 or 2 years, engineering students, they learn the basics. And afterwards, one semester they spend in university, other semester they spent in the industry. So that way, the overall program from 4 years, it could go to 6 years. But in that 6 years, they have gained 2 years of experience. And the great thing for the students as well is that when they start coming to the industry, they start choosing the electives which are really useful for them to work, in the industry which they like to join. We can actually take some of the good practices which we see in countries like UK, France, and Germany, and things like that. In UK, I know it's, I spent some time there, and Kishore knows that as well. Rolls-Royce, Airbus, they do something called a sandwich program, for the engineering, right, Kishore? So we've heard about that. And sandwich program, in which the first 1 or 2 years, engineering students, they learn the basics. And afterwards, one semester they spend in university, other semester they spent in the industry. So that way, the overall program from 4 years, it could go to 6 years. But in that 6 years, they have gained 2 years of experience. And the great thing for the students as well is that when they start coming to the industry, they start choosing the electives which are really useful for them to work, in the industry which they like to join. So that way, that program of the sandwich courses, sandwich programs have been great. And we actually spoke with the German consulate here. They wanted to try and work with the companies, universities in India to introduce such sort of programs as well. That's the first thing. The second thing on the industry academia side is the extended industry experience. And this is what they do in France, for example. See, for a 4-year program like engineering, a student has to go through 2 6-month industry experience, which means that at the end of second year, they take a 6 months. And again, this gives them a flavor of the industry, what is looked for in the industry. So accordingly, they can actually fine tune what they want to do in the remaining 2 years. And that again, in the third year, they do another 6 months, or end of fourth year, they do that. So at least that sort of bridges the gap. And they can then go back to the same company where they did that experience, or if they don't like that, they go somewhere else. That's the second one I would suggest that we need to really look at. The third one is the apprentice program. Already Kishore touched on, and Wing Commander touched on that as well. So that's really, we need to reinforce that, people do join in India, the apprentice program, but sometimes the industry is really not taking that fully forward, in the sense that people join at the age of 18 and as an apprentice. In many of the companies in UK, in Airbus or in Rolls-Royce, I've seen that people continue, they do their engineering, a bachelor's program, even they do their master's as well. They have the opportunity to do that. Whereas here, that type of thing, rarely happens. So that's something which we need to encourage. So sandwich program, extended industry experience, and then this apprenticeship program as well. The last thing is that, it's interesting to see, if you look at India, the number of people who do, masters and PhDs, from the graduates, it's only 13% and 2% respectively. If you look at, among the top 9 countries, which we are looking at, and if you look at Germany, it's like 31% and 7%, so really, even in tier 1 universities, there needs to be augmented to attract the people of higher learning as well. So